Hi, this is Sherry Veronica, and with me in studio today is Karen Codrington, and she and I are going to talk about the news report that came out through Barbados today, and it's regarding Imperial, the private school in Hastings, and the principal's name is Kevin Barrett. Okay, so we're going to talk to Karen because she had a child that went to that school and she's a no nonsense person. She's going to tell us exactly what is going on and why what happened has happened in her best knowledge, and with all honesty she's going to talk to us today. Welcome into the studio, Karen.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me, Sherry.
You're welcome. So tell us what you know about the school and the principal.
Okay, basically, from having my daughter going to Imperial Private School, I highly recommend Imperial to each and every one that I come in contact with. I'm going to say a little about Mr. Barrett. He is a no-nonsense person of a principal like myself. It's either you stand for something or you fall for nothing. Mr. Barrett at Imperial Private School, what he does there is that he teaches the mastery. That is in a terms, layman terms, he teaches that no child is to be left behind. So what happens in a case like that? If your child is struggling and he recognizes a child is struggling, that class has to go on pause before going on to another syllabus without that child quite understanding what's happening. They have to understand to go forward. If he has to teach it, they have to teach it for a whole week or two. That's what they do. So I can speak highly of the school because I had my own encounter with the school. My daughter, she used to go to Warren's primary school before, and I had moved her from there and transferred her over to Imperial because I was giving her private lessons with them. Sherry, I'm going to tell you this. I have no kind of regrets at all. And I'm going to say this boldly again for the public of Barbados to hear. I have no regrets at all moving my daughter from Warren's primary school to Imperial Private School.
Why do you think
Imperial Private School is a family together. We stick together. Mm-hmm. We have a good rapport,
Yeah.
And this is nothing that I am here to say. It's not a paid advertisement. It's nothing. It's me speaking from my heart. Let me tell you why I'm here this evening. Because seeing all these blogs that were circulating and stuff, I was out working, and when I started reading and seeing all this nonsense, I was like, what the hell is going on here? So I tell myself, I have to reach out to you.
Have you paused?
I've paused.
Yeah. I want to know why, in your opinion, why you think the parents and the accusers, the ex-teachers, are doing what they're doing to Mr. Barrett?
Well, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing and hearing and stuff, I think that they're basically sabotaging Mr. Barrett and his school. Like I said before, he's a no-nonsense principal. And he has very good intentions for the students. But what happens is that the parents don't like the children to be disciplined. And his form of discipline a child is, if a child is doing something wrong, he's not going to give you lashes. He's not one to ill-treat a child. He'll say, go and do 2 laps around the pasture. Or he's going to tell you, okay, go and pick up some leaves from out there. For me, that punishment is fine.
Right.
Even with my daughter, she was the head girl there at the school. Before she became the head girl, she was the prefect. And I find that being a child in class 1, other classmates tend to lose respect, thinking, oh, she's too little to give them a directive or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And he had to say to a lot of these students, hey, this is what it is. We've given her this badge, and that's what it is. Let us respect each other,
Yes.
She moved from prefect to head girl, and it was a bit challenging for a lot of children to adjust. Oh, I was here first, and it's not a matter who was here first, who did what. It's a matter of seeing the character of a child that can lead.
Right.
Yeah. And I'll shed some light on the teaching staff also. The teaching staff, you have to understand. Well, we all have to understand it's a time and place for everything. You as teaching staff, you cannot come into a classroom setting to teach children and you have on a tight skirt, extremely tight, short, a tight pants, panties printing out and stuff. This is where society is lacking. because in these times they can't really tell teachers from students how they all dress. So in his schools, teachers cannot come in like that. So they have a problem with that. So if you have a problem with it, go packing, go your way, not in my school. Simple as that.
So that is that wait. So that's what happens. Teachers were dressing like inappropriately.
Got
Like,
one or two teachers that would dress a bit inappropriate, and I've heard him on one occasion speaking to some of them about their dress code.
Okay.
I've heard that with my own ears.
Okay.
And another thing, what he does with parents and parents, no parent or a child is ever dealt with behind closed doors. If he's going to speak to you, he's going to come out in the open car park. Hey, I'm Karen, I need to see you. There's something I have to discuss with you about your daughter. She forgot to do her homework, and this is what's going to... And it did happen to me once. And he called me, he telephoned me. He said, hey, this is not acceptable. She's a head girl. She forgot an assignment, and I'm giving her until Friday. I said, apologize to him. I said, it's my fault, not hers. But it's still her fault. But I'm going to have that homework ready for you by 6 o'clock the evening. He said he's going to open it back up, because it's homework comes via emails and stuff.
Okay.
His assignment, he opened that back. And as soon as we got home, I said, you already ate homework. And by 6 o'clock, that homework was done, hit submit, and she had until Friday, but it was done the same evening.
Right.
Because I was on my job, and he called. He said, this is not acceptable. It's sending the wrong message as the head girl, and we cannot have that. But this is where the parents are lacking too, because they do not sit with their children and do homework, Sherry. They think that the school is to do everything.
Right. So what caliber of kids are there? Because usually if you're paying to have your kids go to school, those particular parents would want to have, the kids do the homework, want to have their kids disciplined. They would want the best for their kids. So what caliber of kids was he taking into the school?
I would not use that in context to say, because remember, he caters for a certain type of children and stuff. But what can happen is, a friend might know a friend. Hey, my child goes to private school. You want your child there? I'll speak to the principal for you.
Okay.
But you know what happened? You have to take the bad apples from among the whole bunch. Because I get you into the school, and I know that you're going to come in and you're going to be a nuisance in the school, but I get you through the crack, and that's where the problem begins.
Because someone was telling me, but someone was telling me that a parent, for example, would say, don't hit my RH child, and use like profanity in front of him, and he was not.
That did happen. That happened. No, you touched on that. That's a video that was circulating a couple years ago, and that parent, they showed us the part of the video that they wanted us to see. That parent was, and all the explicits, both he and his partner, the curse, the carry on, they do everything. But they only came down and snatched that cell phone out to clip the recording where they wanted to see. And as a principal, I would have done the same thing, to be quite honest, Sherry. I've read all the comments. This body was slapping back this place and next place. But think about it. He has to protect our children. So if our children are entrusted in his care, and a parent came onto the compound, decided they're going to rant and rave and behave like a madman, you cussing and you carrying on. His job is to protect them. He said to the parent, and stop using profanity in my school.
Right.
And he decided he going to chuck the table at him. He doing what he saw. The principal just gave him 2 slaps,
Right,
he got to protect himself. You show us the part you want us to see, but you did not do the whole recording.
Right.
That's what his other partner did.
Okay. So the parents are parents who are not correcting their kids. Obviously, they don't want anyone disciplining their kids. And then the accusers are ex-teachers. So that rose a right for me. When I saw it, that was a red flag. I don't know who
I'm
else.
glad you saw that.
Yeah, it was a red flag for me, because I'm saying all of his accusers are ex-teachers and maybe parents who didn't want their kids disciplined, because I did hear a few things, from other people. So it's a red flag. So with that red flag that I have, what do you say?
I would say to you, I'm glad that it was a red flag for you, because it is a red flag. They basically sabotage Mr. Barrett, Sherry. That's what they did. They have to make themselves look good in the public eye. You see, as soon as that old video was posted, quick saw his portfolio of the school was up.
Yes.
That
Yes.
person went out of their way to quickly send that to you.
Yes.
You know? But I'm going to say this again, and we have to understand. Every person, there's parents that do not like their child or children to be disciplined. And what he does, I got some parents that are highly offended at everything. Sherry, in my old workplaces, growing up when I was a bit younger and stuff, and I worked down on the harbor years ago. That's when I first came out to school and stuff and what's not. And on the floor, there was a call center. And and we used to do calls for Chase Manhattan Bank and those kind of places.
Right.
And we were given perks and incentives. Hey, whoever can make the most sales on the floor gets to take home this bicycle or the Brunta screwdriver set or what. And the target is 6 sales. I don't have to tell you. I tell myself I take home that bicycle and everything else that comes my way. Bam, just like that. 10 sales, and I get the day to go home for the rest of the day, full pay.
Right.
If you have students excelling and doing well under all the pressure they're doing it under, and a principal is going to say, okay, I'm going to treat the kids today because they did well, and he left out 1 or 2. It's not something that happens all the time. But if he decides he's not going to do that for each child because, well, you didn't do well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Earn your spot.
Right. Right.
So parents have to get it right. Teach your children charity begins at home. My child have homework, I'm going to sit with my child and do homework, make sure everything is done. But you cannot just decide you're going to drop all that luggage and wait on the teachers and the principal and say because, he at private school or she's at private school and think the principals are supposed to work magic. It doesn't happen like that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these teachers and these parents that are contacting you, reaching out and sending out these destructive social media things and going around and circulating, I personally know they're sabotaging him. Okay. Because a lot of them also, they fail the children. They fail them children miserably, Sherry, and I'm going to keep saying they can come for me, they can bash me. I can deal with that.
Right.
Oh, yes. They can bash me. You cannot expect a child getting 35% in class and have assignments and stuff and expect that child to go to Harrison College or Queen's College. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, yes.
So you see what is really happening here, right?
Yes.
Good.
So
they have their own little ring going on to sabotage Mr. Barrett. Sherry, and I'm going to say to you, there are a lot of persons out there that know me, right? But they know me originally as Karen Paris. That's my original name. I gave you Codrington. That's my marriage name. But I'm going to say again to you, Sherry, they are sabotaging Mr. Barrett with all these destructive circulations that are going around. What they're saying and putting out there for the public is far from what is happening or what went on. No ex-worker should be on his compound at 4 o'clock in the morning. Ask them, why are they there at those hours in the morning? What are they doing?
What were they doing there at 4 o'clock in the morning?
They would know what they were doing. They would know. The school has a lot of cameras. Like I say to you, anytime he has to talk with a child, a student, whoever, it is done in the presence of the parents. The parents are called into the school and it is rectified right there in the car park. We don't even go into the office. He has an open forum there that everybody can see what happens and what goes on.
Right. Right.
And I'm going to say this too. My daughter was part of the Imperial family. She still is. I'm a proud Imperial mom. And I'm going to say kudos to Imperial Private School. Kudos to Mr. Kevin Barrett. We have Auntie Anastasia. We have Auntie Melissa. All those wonderful teachers out there. All the rest are being destructive. As the old people would say, to hell with you.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So you're going to give him thumbs up. Both thumbs up for Kevin.
Thumbs up all the way. Okay. Thumbs up 100%.
Okay. So we can only hope that he's successful. He is successful with whatever litigation is going to come his way. I don't know if they're going to. Well, the 3 people are investigating, the ministry and the child care board, and someone else they're investigating. Let's hope that all that, when that happens, that he can redeem himself and the school and everything. Let's hope that that's all. It comes up.
Yeah, well,
That's
all he
what.
needs to do is pray over it and leave it in God's hands because he's already working on it. When you give it all to God, it's not going to happen in his time or my time. It's going to happen on God's timing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep praying for Imperial along this because we are all in this together. But I'm going to keep saying, I would not have it any other way. Imperial private school, it is for me. I will continue to be for me, even though my daughter has passed on.
Right.
I am a proud Imperial mom.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Karen. Thank you so. We need more people like you to come out of the woodwork and speak and say what you know. And it's happening, but not as much as I would like it to. But I want to thank you for calling me, getting in contact with me, and speaking on behalf of Kevin and Imperial Private School. It means a lot to him. I'm sure it means a lot to the teachers and the kids and the parents of the kids that are going to the school. It means a lot to all of them.
Oh yes, yeah, oh yes. There are so many persons that are reaching out and saying, "Hey, you heard what they're saying and stuff." But it's a matter of some person really having the courage to come out and stand up and say something. I come today with open arms and with a clean heart to give it to you about Imperial Private School.
Okay. So it's 5 stars for the school, 5 stars for the principal.
10 stars.
Okay, 10
I give
stars.
them 10 stars in my books.
Yeah, 10 stars. Well, thank you, Karen. If there's anything else you want to talk about regarding this that you may have forgotten, you're more than welcome to come back on my show anytime.
Of course. Yes, please.
Bye-bye.
Have yourself a wonderful afternoon as well.
Thank you. This is Chef Veronica, Naked Departure Radio.